So we're discussing why positioning is the #1 decisions for maximum growth. So in the middle stage funnel, interest and desire informs your website content and messaging, informs what lead magnets to create. Webinars, PDFs, books, freemium products, all of that is informed by positioning, and informs how to nurture your prospects through marketing automation. When we talk about calls and closing, more like that part of the sales process, it informs the pitch storytelling and the demo script. It informs the discovery questions of your sales team, and it informs the main offer for the client. So you can see that everything about acquiring new clients in the whole funnel is informed by positioning strategy. That's why it's the #1 decision to growth. But there is more. In the expansion, so once you have a client, you land, you want to expand your services, it informs also your revenue expansion strategy, new offers and new packages to sell, because those are reinforced by your current positioning, and informs what case studies to build and testimonials. So it builds up the credibility and strengthens your current positioning, right? I get many times this question: what is the difference between positioning, messaging, and copy? Well, basically, positioning is the most strategic decision you have to make. It's a strategic level, and the goal is to find your product sweet spot, to win more clients and grow faster. Is differentiation. Where are you relevant for the markets, and where can you be credible for the market? Basically, positioning is the why. It's informing why you should communicate what you are going to communicate, right? And it's informing what market can you win, and in which market can you be different, and in which market do you have credibility. Typically, the executors are CEOs, founders, and CMOs. And the key asset here is the positioning platform and statement, which I will give you an example of that. Second step, positioning cascades into messaging. Now, messaging is still a strategic level, because messaging is what you do, is what you say in your communication. It's not how you say it, it's still what you say. So it's reflecting your positioning strategy in your communications in every channel. It's in your website, it's in how your sales people is talking, it's how your marketers are talking in your social networks. So it's basically reflect that positioning strategy in your communications, what you are going to communicate, the what. And the executors, depending on the organization, they can be CMOs and product marketing. The key asset is the messaging platform. And then it cascades into copywriting. Now, copywriting is the tactical thing. It's the tactical level of these two previous steps. Now, the goal is to add simplicity and clarity to your key messages. Is echo your brand voice, tone, and personality. Here is when we add brand voice, tone, and personality. So before, everything was about strategizing how we get into the customer minds through communications, positioning, and messaging. Now is also, hey, we want to reflect our brand personality. We want to make it clear. We want to make it simple. We have to have our brand voice and tone. So that is copywriting, right? Now, second step, once we understand why this is the most important decision we have to make, how to pinpoint your highest growth market. Basically, we're talking here about identifying 1 to 5 top growth positioning possibilities. When I talk about growth opportunities, is like, to me, is the same of positioning possibilities. You don't want to position your product in a market that is not giving you growth. So a growth opportunity equals to a positioning opportunity or positioning possibility. And now positioning is a mental game. It starts by understanding current market perceptions. So it's like what our market has in mind. And the goal of positioning is how to build winning mental position. And here I'm trying to represent the different positions. I'm going to give you many examples of real world software companies. And hopefully that will make it more clear to understand what's positioning about and how to go about it in the next 10 minutes. So stay with me, many examples coming. And so the goal is how to build a winning mental position messaging for a product service, which is the how. Basically, the product service is how that solves a problem, which is basically a use case or pain point for a specific type of customer. So in positioning, basically, we are going to start auditing by doing an audit of what are the different possibilities or positioning possibilities, markets you can conquer basically. And you need to start by identifying those 1 to 5 top growth positioning possibilities, basically who to sell and what to sell, right? And now here is the first template for you. It's putting together in an Excel, in a spreadsheet, in a canvas like this, combination of industries, business functions, use cases, and market categories. This example is for one of the many different, I'm going to show you many different AI note takers that there are out there right now. This is Fathom AI. It's the example I'm using. Don't have anything with these guys. It's just this, the one I use. And for me, it's very simple to make the example. And so in terms of industry, they can target consulting companies, SaaS companies, research companies. In terms of business functions, they can target sales teams, user research teams, product marketing teams. They all can use this note-taking tool. In terms of use cases, and here is when it gets it hotter, they can target sales calls not taken, user interviews not taken, sales calls coaching. So when I'm talking and I'm having a sales call, this tool can coach me and tell me, how to improve my speech, or asking questions and all that live, so I improve the way I communicate with my client. And it can also be good for interview, for pattern recognition in the interview. So there are many different use cases for different business functions. Of course, the interview pattern recognition, probably it's more interesting for user research teams, for product marketing teams. The sales calls, of course, is for sales teams. And then in terms of market categories, well, we can position it as an AI note-taking tool, which is super crowded, as an AI sales coaching tool, which that means we are already just narrowing down into sales teams. We make this choice. That means that we are making this choice, and we're making also this choice and this one also. But we are removing from all the pool user interview notes, user research teams, product teams, and interview pattern recognition. Or we can say that we are an AI transcription tool, which we are much more than that. So it falls short. But so you first start doing this audit and putting together the possibilities, right? And now, how you do this audit? And after this is when I'm going to start explaining you different real world examples. So if you're in a pre-revenue early stage company, you can do industry ecosystem outreach, like talking with industry experts, consultants in your industry, industry analysts, and you can tell them that you are launching a new product or innovation, and test messages with different use cases in your copy and see which one grabs the attention and what questions do they ask to you in a chat, or jump on a call and understand what are their perceptions. And you can start asking questions about where your technology or your product can fit better. Where is it solving a super burning problem? Because that's what you want. You want to solve a burning problem. If you want to sell, you must be a painkiller, a must-have solution. Of course, you can position it as a maybe solution, but that's going to take more time to get more traction, right? Then for this pre-revenue early stages tactics, we also use sales outreach, inviting to a webinar, because in an early stage, if you don't have this figured out, it's very difficult that you can nail your message. When you cannot nail your message, it's very difficult to do push sales, mostly when someone doesn't know you. So when you are outreaching, you better outreach giving value, like, for example, a free webinar, or inviting to, let's say, into an event. And then in the event, well, there will be something in which you would talk about your solution, and then you will ask for feedback, but you are giving value first, right? Because you still have not figured that out. Then B2B audience panels like Winter. Winter is a tool by Bermejo, which I use for my research. So you can have a B2B panel there, and you can ask questions, launch service, and then also have your landing page roasted and have feedback on your messaging. And then, of course, as your network and references that are in these different markets, and also try to put the voice of your product out there, and try to find the market that is pulling your service product. People that gets excited and say, hey, I can solve this problem with your technology, right? And then with that, you put together with table. Now, if you are post-revenue, it's way easier because you have CRM data and you have deals data and you have marketing data. You use that, you segment that data, and then you're gonna have this really quick in a matter of hours. And then you ask yourself, who has the shortest sales cycles? What segments with the shortest sales cycles? What are the segments with higher deal size? And in these segments, what is the combination of use case and audience? This is very important. The way I define a market, it's a combination of a use case and an audience or market category, right? So that makes very easy to narrow down and to define a market, because we all talk about markets, but what is a market? So my definition of market is a combination of use case plus audience inside the market category. Okay. Then you can also interview your current clients to find the exact pain points they are solving and how. Of course, you can test through winter also. The difference with this one is in an early stage, you are trying to find a market that is pulling your service. And in this one, you're trying to find a market in which you are pushing successfully your product service. But you have data. That's the good news. Now, let's talk about differentiation. So for now, you have to put together this, right? Before we move forward, I want to talk about differentiation. And here is when we start with examples. So the best differentiation is market focus. Knowing that a market is a combination of use case plus audience. Imagine this is a real world example. I just came across to this tool, TLVR, which is comparable to Fathom AI. This one on the right is Fathom AI. The one on the left is TLVR. They say, we take your meeting notes, you run the show. And here they say, sorry about that. Here they say, increase productivity with the #1 rated AI note taker. I mean, basically they are the same. I am with Fathom AI, so why switch there? When I compare there, it's so difficult to me to understand at the first sight, right? And they even have the same integrations and all that. They are the same. And so I think I'll stick to Fathom.video because it's why switching. Or I will just pick the one that someone told me to pick because they are using it, so word of mouth. And then if you scroll down in these guys of TLVR, which are basically an AI note taker tool, so the market category is exactly the same. That's what I want to tell you. Same market category. But now you scroll down and you see this. Prompt hundreds of meetings in autopilot. Okay. And so they are saying, if you read this, concrete text, what they are basically saying is that I can have all my transcripts in one place, tag them, and then for the same tag, they are going to recognize patterns. I cannot do that with AI Note Taker, with the Fathom.video, sorry. So basically what they are telling me, which is what I would suggest them, is record your research interviews and find the jobs to be done. This is product marketing jargon, if you want, pain points, outcomes in autopilot from your user research interviews. Now, but by telling me this, you caught my attention. You tell me this, you're not cutting my attention because it's the same. But you tell me this, it's a different use case. This use case, Fathom, they don't have it. Now you caught my attention because I have tens of market interviews. I have to extract the information manually. I have to find patterns across transcripts, all of that manually. And you are saving me a ton of hours. Yes, we are narrowing down the audience. You're losing sales if you lead with this message. But you can be the market leader in product in all this audience, in product people, in product managers, in UX, UI, user research, market researchers, even journalists, lawyers, people that is making tens of market interviews. You can win that market by leading with this message. So actually, I will reach this founder and tell, hey, lead with this message and win that market. That market, you can be the owner of the market because it's a completely differentiator by doing a market focus. So by just doing a combination of use case, the right combination of use case plus audience, you are just standing out. So there is no rocket science about features and things like that. And so what my brain thinks versus in this case, the brain of the buyer is saying, I'll stick to Fathom.video. And here my brain is thinking, hey, I'm going to pay for both because this is saving so much money that I'm going to pay $10 for this other tool, even though I have the other one for sales. So they are different purposes. And I'm both. At the same time that I'm a sales guy, I also have tens of market interviews for my clients. So I need both use cases. I'm two audiences. For one audience, I'm picking one. For another audience, in my case, I'm picking the other one. So automatic differentiator, automatic purchase, right? So more examples. The best differentiator is market focus. Again, market is a combination of use case plus audience inside a market category. So here are different guys selling OKR software that they all look and work like the same thing. And then so you have OKR software is the market category for these three different tools, right? These two guys here are talking about horizontal pain points and outcomes. Horizontal pain points means that they are trying to talk about something that is appealing for everyone, or try to be appealing for everyone, but at the end of the day, it's not compelling. Because if you want to be compelling, you must use the jargon of the specific audience. That's why the most specific message is going to win in positioning, because you're speaking the same language. They are going to think, hey, you know, they know my tribe, you know me. It's not the same talking about sales that about, you know, lawyers. And so they are targeting the same thing, and their messages, look at this, drive alignment and focus with OKRs. OKR software to execute your strategy with precision. Okay, they are the same. Try free, get your free demo, same. Now I get into this software. They have the same features. I can tell you they have the same features, but they are saying your roadmaps deserve better than slides and spreadsheets. Product management software. And so they are an OKR, but they position themselves as product management software. So they are OKR or product management software, but they are solving a specific pain point for a specific audience. And they have proof about, you know, many customers and product managers talking about that. So just doing that, they are differentiated from this. Yes, they are saying no to many clients, but they are beating the competition in product marketers. I mean, you don't need that much market. I can tell you. You can forget about sales. You can forget about all those markets. You win product marketers, you're going to be rich. You don't need that much, right? So product marketers think by themselves. Oh, this is a specific to my tribe and pains. I'm going with these guys, not with these other undifferentiated guys that are not speaking to me, right? ConvertKit, another example. New product in a crowded market. So in ConvertKit is a marketing automation tool for creators. Again, audience for creators. So combination of market category, marketing automation tool, or email marketing for creators. So when they launched it, it was more than 700 tools in the world of email marketing tools. And so what can you do when you have 700 competitors? Here it is. And these are just some to name, you know, because there are more than 700 tools. These are the subscriptions of ConvertKit. This is flat, this is flat, this is flat. Since the 13th to the 15th, flat. And then all of a sudden, boom, spike. What happened here with ConvertKit? Well, I can tell you because I went to the record of websites, the internet record, the story. They were trying to find the perfect market, a combination of market category in this case, and audience. So instead of use case and audience, they tried category and audience. So they were leading with email marketing for audience, email marketing for audience. So they tried for authors, they tried for professional bloggers, and this spike here is when they found for creators. So by targeting their building specific features and proving that their features were specifically for creators, then you enter into a flywheel of more creators talking about you, because creators talk among creators. That's segment. A segment is not something, it's not people that doesn't speak in between them. A segment is people that can reference them when they go to conferences, or when they get together for drinks, or when they get together for whatever online event. That's a segment. And so there is no segment if they don't get along and they don't talk in between each other, right? So once they segmented and they found the creators is when they took off. So I get a lot of times this question. We're talking about differentiation. What is the difference between differentiation and competitive advantage? Well, differentiation is something that it's giving you a short-term edge, and it's making easy for the client through communication. It could be a feature or it can be just a message. Is making clear for the client that you are better, different from the competition. It's obvious you're different from the competition. Now, a competitive advantage is something, it's a capability you have either in your product or in your business or in the market, and it's giving you a long-term edge, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, something that is very, very difficult to copy. That is a competitive advantage. And so people ask me a lot about this question. The point of differentiators is that you can be different, but it may or may not be a competitive advantage. Example, ChatGPT versus Perplexity AI. Everyone's talking about ChatGPT. Many people know Perplexity. For the ones that you don't know, Perplexity AI, it's kind of a internet research agent. So you go to Perplexity, you're going to ask a question, and it's going to go instantly to the internet, is going to research live in the websites, and it's going to provide you links, and it's going to build, let's say, a case on the question that you ask based on proof from the internet, right? And so I don't know if it was 2 or 3 months ago, ChatGPT didn't have that capability. So everyone was with Perplexity AI. Now that capability, that kind of live internet research was a differentiator by Perplexity AI. I was paying for both ChatGPT and Perplexity. So I pay for both differentiators. Now, is that a competitive advantage? It was not. It was copied by ChatGPT. Now you go to ChatGPT, you can do that and ask ChatGPT, hey, go to the web. And what's more, now they have deep research, which is way more powerful in that sense. And so a differentiator like Perplexity AI, everything, let's say the competitiveness of Perplexity AI was based on that differentiator. But it wasn't truly a competitive advantage. It was so easy to copy. So you don't want that. You want both to have a differentiator, but also think about how are you gaining advantage over the competition in the long term so they don't beat you, okay? So positioning. So you have to position your solution in a market that makes it obvious, combination of use case, audience, and market category. That combination make it obvious you are the best choice. That's the best differentiator. So the question for you is, what combination of industry, function, use case, and market category gives you the edge, makes you automatically different? Now, I get many times this question also. Should we create a category, a new category to differentiate? Well, I'm going to answer you with an example, with a failed category claim, Drift. Drift is basically a software chat technology. Now, when all the software chat technology, I think it was around 4 years ago, they started, this market got crowded with many different like Intercom, Drift, many different chat software technologies. Here is how I see market categories, right? Market category basically is a mental box. So when we talk about a category, if the category doesn't exist, it means that it doesn't exist in the minds of the market. And so you are creating a category, means that you have to create a mental box, means that you are going against thoughts, okay? That's why it's so difficult to create a category, is because you are changing the worldview of the market. Now, getting back to Drift, so they basically were and are a chat software. But then someone at their team came up, and then of course Intercom, and they were struggling to compete with each other. And then you have CRMs and you have email marketing categories and all of that. Someone at Drift said, hey, we have to differentiate because we are so similar to other chat softwares. We're expensive. We don't know how to do it. Well, I guess, I don't know, but I guess that was the conversation of someone, because that is the conversation with people ask me about, should we create a new category? And then so this was on the website. We are a revenue acceleration platform. Someone said we should lead with this message of we are a revenue acceleration platform. And so what that means is like, so if people had in mind all these categories, CRMs, chat software, email marketing, and then you take drift out of that mind categorization, it's like the customer is going to think this way. You're messing with the customer's mind. They are going to start thinking, what is it? I don't find it in my mind. You know how to compare. The mind works by comparisons. So it's what I compare it with. What does it do? This is confusing. Why do I need something like this? I never heard about this. So all of that are triggers to uncertainties and to fears. The customer is going to think, why raise my position going with someone I don't know what it is? And so you are out of the vendor's shortlist. You're not going to sell. And so you don't want to create a market category if you don't really are something that is disruptive. It's truly changing the behaviors of the people and the way people is approaching their workflow. That is true market category creation. Otherwise, what you have to do is to find a combination of market use case, category, and audience. And now for this, I have this template for you, which is positioning decision. This is the second biggest step, is you have to make a decision on which combination to target. Now you put in a table the different use cases and audiences. And then you score through these different criteria. These are my personal criteria that I use for my clients, and they work really, really well. And basically is you score if the audience is ready, if they have budget, if they are the real buyers, how difficult is like the decision-making unit, if in that decision are 5 people in the room or is just one, things like that, right? Is the audience ready to buy this? Do they have the budget? Are they making very difficult decisions, the process of making the decision? And then what is the reason to buy? The reason to buy is basically your problem solution fit, is how are you fitting, your product is fitting for this specific use case and solving those pains. And so that's the reason to buy. Does the client has a very painful reason to buy, and is it urgent, which means they already have budget allocated for it? So you score that from 1 to 5. And then the channel fit is, do we have distribution channels ready to reach this type of audience for this specific audience or use case? That's the question to answer here. Competition is how crowded is the market. Are we facing a lot of competition in this combination of use case, audience, and category, or this market is almost empty? Of course, the more empty, the more score. Strengths and differentiators. Are we different here? But more importantly, do we have strengths in our company and in our product that can build towards a long-term advantage? Like, for example, a customer base. Do you have a customer base that can talk about you, customer cases, and things like that? And so that is a very, very good strength. Do you have maybe market relationships? Do you have maybe market partnerships? Those are all strengths that you have to take into account. Or maybe your founders, maybe someone in the company has a strong voice in that market. They are speakers. That's also a strength. And then, of course, proof of value, which is basically, do we have case studies? Do we have a customer base that can help us prove that we can be the leaders in this market? And so you go through this by doing your research and understanding how are you solving the pain points for the different combinations of categories, use cases, and audiences, and then you score and you pick one. Okay. Now, I encourage you to take a screenshot of this because I have to keep going and I don't want to run out of time. But when you are analyzing all these markets, you don't have enough information. You have to go through interviews. Of course, you can use AI and ChatGPT to do that thing and to have scratched the surface of the pain points, but can tell you the customer is going to tell you everything. So you go through 5-10 interviews and you're going to find patterns real quick. And so you can use the customer progress canvas to understand where do you fit best in the market, which is understanding their current way to approach the problem that you are trying to solve. If you take a screenshot of this, then you can check it out at home because everything is described here. And then on the right side, you see what is your new way as a product, how you are trying to solve the problems or the struggles in the current way. In the middle, what you have are forces against change, against buying your product. And those, you have to overcome those forces through product features, through complementary features, through low risk offers, and through messaging. So once you go through all these steps, this is what you have. This is the result. You will have an answer to who to sell and what to sell. So for example, for Fathom AI, the target audience is head of sales in software companies with sales teams over 10 reps. And the target use case or jobs to be done is online calls note taking. And now the market category is AI assisted note taking tool. So that is the answer. That is most of today's lesson. Now, getting back to the example of ConvertKit, real world example. This is an example of what happened when you do this process properly. So remember, more than 700 tools in the market that ConvertKit was launching. Incredible. It's very crowded. It was a very crowded market, and it still is. And now they went through this process. This is what you can see. Email marketing platforms. You had MailChimp 30%, the absolute market leader. Campaign Monitor, it was a 20% in customer base in let's say in the total market, and other tools 50%, very atomic market. ConvertKit 0.1% of the total market users. Now, when you narrow down for creators, email marketing platform for creators, you define the market that way. That's actually a market. This is what you get. MailChimp 20%, Campaign Monitor 10%, others 10%, ConvertKit 60%, absolute market leader. Is like, you don't need anything else. You just have to conquer one segment, be the market leader, and then you're done. It's like sell the company wherever you want. It's like you're rich. Okay, so automatic differentiation just because of making the right call on who to target with your product. Now, all of that, you can do all of that with AI, and I'm going to share with you right away my Notion AI template in which there are different steps. And among those steps, I encourage you to play. You go to the chat. Let me see if the copy and paste works. Go to the chat. You have here the template. There you have. You can accelerate all of that with AI, and we are going to accelerate all of these steps also with AI in my next accelerator cohort. As said, you have $500 discount just for joining this class. You can scan this code, and directly it will open the window to enter into my next cohort for $1,400, and this is going to be available for the next 44 hours or until we reach 3 spots. And what we're going to get done in these 4 weeks is get done your unforgettable positioning, create the magnetic messaging, and now I'm going to drive you through those next steps: no-brainer offer, website wireframe, storytelling, and the winning proposal. So basically accelerating all your sales process. And then if you're not ready for that, we can do a one-to-one power hour session, 1 hour session in we will get together through any of these steps or all, but it's basically to work together in a consulting session. You go here, you will get the discount right away. You can book a time with me for the next few weeks. Now, next steps. So once you have that decision made about the positioning, it's about creating the messages, which is basically, what does your product service replace? What is this for? How is it better? Why? You have to communicate all of that to your customer. And this is the magnetic messaging canvas. It's my canvas. There are many canvases. This is my canvas. I'm going to zoom in. This is not part of the lesson. So the lesson so far is done. This is next steps, right? So you know what to do after you have picked the positioning of your maximum growth opportunity, which is the combination of the right use case, audience, and market category. Now, you can take a screenshot of this. This is an example of Fathom AI, and then you can use it by your own. So you create the messaging. You can accelerate the messaging, with AI, which by the way, you have also messaging with AI in the template that I just shared with you in Notion AI. Now, this is the next template. Once you have all of that is when you can create the positioning statement. You can also which is basically your North Star. Remember at the beginning of the lesson when we've been talking about positioning as the most important decision to make because it's going to inform all your funnel. Well, this is what informs your funnel is who is your target audience, what is your market category, the use cases, the benefits and the outcomes, and the differentiators and strengths. This is the example for ConvertKit, okay? You can take a screenshot or yeah, you're going to get the recording anyhow. Then you have to create a no-brainer offer. A no-brainer offer is basically something that makes very, very easy for the clients to test you before they pay a big amount of money. It's like a freemium model, it's like a trial model, or in a high ticket is maybe starting with proof of concept, a 2 weeks proof of concept for a small price that then you are giving this price if you're giving it away if they are buying the complete solution, things like that. There are many things that we can strategize here to reduce the sales cycles with a no-brainer offer. Then, of course, you have to capture leads on the website through the messaging, and then you have to create an aha storytelling and a sales deck, right? Here are all the templates of the sales deck. You can pause the video. I also have my AI tools that I will share with you in the next lessons in both in the Power Hour, if you join a Power Hour, or in the next cohort. Of course, you have to create a winner proposal in the case you have a high ticket software in which you have to deliver a proposal. This is the checklist of the proposal, and the positioning is also reflected. So positioning, which stops here, cascades into messaging, cascades into your offer, cascades into your website, cascades into your storytelling, cascades into your proposal. And so, summary of positioning strategy steps. And with this, we're done. First, map your positioning possibilities, product categories, use cases, business functions, job titles. If you have a lot, I had projects with more than 120 combinations, which is crazy. You cannot interview thousands of people to go to market. So you have to use intuition to slash this number at least by 50%, and then go through the market research, as I said. Then you go through the market research. You can use ChatGPT, deep research, customer interviews, ecosystem interviews, CRM data, landing page demand test, winter audience research. Then you do the decision making. You have to weight and score to narrow down your best market and find a combination of use case, audience, and market category. And you create the customer progress canvas. Then you create the messaging. You have all those nice messages, and with those messages, you create a catchy website. Then you create your no-brain offer. You create the storytelling and the proposal. And then this is an iterative process. You have to do it until you find the number one market. You are the absolute best. That's your differentiation, is where are you the absolute best. Yeah, before I get into that, I want to remember you about this discount that you have for the go-to-market Power Hour lesson, one-to-one consulting with me, available for the next 48 hours. You can scan here. And the second one is the cohort that I'm hosting in April. You have $500 discount in the next 48 hours, and we'll get done. All of these steps that you just seen, we're going to get that done in 4 weeks, optimizing all your sales process. And you can scan here and you will get the discount right away. It's also limited to 48 hours or 3 spots. Now, the last message I want to tell you, it's very important, is your positioning messages must evolve. So this is a continuous process. So depending on the maturity of your market category, you have to evolve your positioning messages. And then, because as the market matures, so a market maturity goes from the bottom to the top. And here, the different attributes, this is based on more than 30 years of research on B2B buying behaviors. And so as the market matures, people cares less about product features and what you do and how can you do it, and they care more about what I call brand intangibles, which is basically if you are disrupting a lot their behaviors, how they can try you before buying your product, if you are giving them support or a community to support them while they are testing your product, if your user experience is compatible and familiar with what they are used to use. It's a lot about fitting with their current behaviors. If you have visible references and use cases, what's your company track record? If you're new, maybe you may disappear. If you're in a startup, that's very risky for a risk-averse buyer. If you have universally supported and reselling partners, sponsor partners, allies, all of this is what you want to start building, once you build up your market category. Oh, just checking in because I don't know if it stopped recording. No, I don't think it stopped recording. You're still sharing. Yes. All right, let's get back. So you can take a screenshot of this. And yeah, this is the last thing. So, because we didn't have time to go through the self-assessment, but I'm here to help. So if you want to chat, just book a call with me and I'll be there. Remember all the steps. Positioning is impacting in everything you do down the road in your funnel. And so is the number one decision. So thank you so much for joining me today. Sorry, I went over the time. We didn't have time for the Q&A. I just hope this has been very helpful. I've been working a lot on putting this together based on all my experience. This is Jose Bermejo, sales coach, positioning strategy, and fractional CRO. Hope we can talk soon and hope that you got a ton of value. Talk soon. Bye-bye. Take care.